Oh, hey, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, depending on which part of this beleaguered country that you're in. You're watching Rebel Roundup. I'm your host, Sheila Gunn, and joining me today on this high ponytail kind of day is my real life best friend from Regina, Saskatchewan, Lise Merle. Lise, how's it going?
Oh, well, Sheila Gunn Reid, it couldn't be a better day, again, to be from Saskatchewan. Little cooler out here these days. What
Mm,
about where you are?
same. We're, I don't know, I think 15, 16 degrees today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It feels like fall today, and let those most deserved fall today.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'll tell everybody what we're doing around here, and then I just have a housekeeping thing. It's not Rebel News related, but I am the host of the show, so I am going to talk about it. So if you're watching us on Rumble, that's a great free speech platform that lets you speak your mind. If you want to support our work over there, you can leave a Rumble rant. That's their paid chat. If it's over the $5 US cutoff, we're reading it on air. If it's under that, we do our very best, time permitting. I do have another interview at 12:15 my time. So we can't go real long. So get your chats in early. If you're watching us on YouTube, same rules apply over on that censorship platform. Their paid chat is called a super chat. If you missed a live version of the show, but you still are moved by the spirit to contribute to the little network that could, you can leave a paid comment called a super thanks. And we invite you to do this for us because we'll never take a penny from the government to do any of the work that we do around here. We have to fiercely protect our independence from the long tentacles of the government octopus. Now, I just want to, Olivia, I put it in the chat. For those of you who don't know, I have an independence-oriented third-party advertiser group in the Alberta campaign to get a referendum on independence, right? The first step is a referendum on a referendum.
It's the pre-referendum. It's the preferendum.
Preferendum.
Mm-hmm.
And the referendum day is quickly approaching, October 19th. Now, that might seem a long way off, but it's only like
That's 2 months.
2 months. Yeah, like 9 weeks.
Yep.
And something else is fast approaching that I don't think a lot of us have thought about, but we're thinking about it over here at my third-party advertiser, Alberta's Choice. You can learn more at albertas-choice.com, and that is scrutineers for the election.
Oh,
So I am inviting you, if you want to make sure that this referendum is done properly, I would invite you to identify yourself as a scrutineer. Now, here's the thing about scrutineers. You're not counting the votes. What you're doing is watching the vote counting. You
this is such an important part of the democratic process. It
Yes.
literally cannot be overstated. Go ahead, Sheila Gunn Reid.
Yes. So you do now look, you're thinking at home, Sheila, I'm just a regular old person. Perfect. You're qualified. You don't need to be a grizzled political operative from the days of Peter Lougheed. You don't need to be a lawyer. You don't need to be a bookkeeper. None of that. You're an oil field worker on your 2 weeks off. Welcome. You're a mom. You're a
You're a
dad.
you
Normal
gotta
person.
you're a nana. You got a gaggle of grandkids coming up in Alberta. This is the job for you.
Yeah. So look at this. Stop here. As a scrutineer, you may verify that all the ballot boxes are empty. You observe the voting process from open to close, if that's what you're doing. You can view the vote record and record elector sequence numbers. Challenge an elector if you believe that person is not eligible to vote. What I mean is don't challenge them in person, but raise the issue. You observe the counting of ballots. You can object to how a ballot is counted with your objection formally noted, and you sign the valid ballot envelope and other official envelopes at the close of counting. We know that the rules are not being applied equally. We already know that. We see the treatment of Forever Canadian,
Yep.
who quite literally was it Lethbridge? Lethbridge, when I was giving out signs with my friend Tamara Leach, I have to register as a third-party advertiser. I have to account for every dollar taken in and every dollar that is going out. I have to make sure that my signs are properly compliant. They have to show my website, all of those things. I have to follow every single rule.
The
Why?
loopholes.
I will be fined into oblivion if I don't do this. But Forever Canadian, the Federalist side, in the exact same parking lot at the exact same time as me, we're doing the exact same things, taking
Unreal.
donations, giving out signs. But they don't, for some reason, and I wish Elections Alberta had a good explanation, but they don't. They do not have to declare their finances. We've seen Thomas Lukaszuk, who's the boss over at Forever Canadian, say, look, I can take donations from anywhere. I can't. How can he? We're doing this exact same activities. So we already know the rules are being bent, not appropriately applied. I've already filed an official complaint with the lawyer's compendium of evidence to Elections Alberta asking for an investigation. I haven't heard anything back. We put a lot of time and money into that. So the next step is to make sure that the counting is done properly. So please go to, if you have the time, and this is so important, go to albertas-choice.com and identify yourself as a potential scrutineer. And we've got a form there. You just fill out the form. We'll take it from there. We'll communicate you. We'll let you know what you have to do. You need an oath of secrecy. There is a code of conduct. Here's the thing. I don't want this to be interesting. I know I'm really selling it here, but I don't want it to be interesting. I want this to be boring. I want the rules to be followed. I want Elections Alberta to finally do what they're supposed to do. So I want this to go off without a hitch. But if there are hitches, we need eyeballs from our side, making sure that things are done properly. And if you measure something, you can change the behavior of the thing you're measuring. So let's get measuring. Maybe we can get Elections Alberta to do the right thing if there are appropriate scrutineers in the room. But don't email me on August 25th and say, Sheila, my schedule just cleared up. I'd love to be a scrutineer, because the hard stop for scrutineers is August 24th. So if you're thinking about it, identify yourself today. And if you can't do it, we'll sort that out afterwards. But if
that's
this is
not
on your
this
mind,
Monday.
do it.
That's not this Monday coming up, but the next Monday after. And
13
so
days.
we have 13 days to get a whole bunch of people with eyeballs on this thing. It is just so terribly important, because of course we've all seen stories where perfectly fine elections go off the rails on voting day because some things happen that nobody was looking after, right? It always comes out in the wash. But if we could prevent bad things from happening that day, if we could just make this as smooth sailing as possible, and we know that there are really good, decent people in Alberta that want the best for themselves and their grandkids, and they'll show up for this. They will. I believe they'll show up for this.
And wouldn't you want to be involved in this moment of a lifetime? That's one of the reasons why I have a third-party advertiser. Imagine the tales I'll tell to my grandchildren. Look, I was on the front lines of this.
Girl, your funeral
I was going to say can't wait,
carousel.
But I don't want. I can wait, but you're in charge of the PowerPoint, so you have to live longer than me.
It's going to be so good. No, but I also don't want to. So there's that. We're in charge of each other's carousel. Okay,
yes,
that's agreed upon, and that we take the cell phone of the other to delete our mutual chats.
Oh, you must. You must. That Facebook Messenger back and forth is unhinged.
She's been burning 4 years. 4 years we've been burning up. This is our preferred method of communication. It's 90% memes, I will say. It's
and videos, just emotive videos of our faces. Before we get into the news, I know we talked about this yesterday, but I can't talk about this story enough, because heroes walk amongst the MLAs of Saskatchewan. And since Lisa's on the show today and she's in Regina, I wanted to talk about this. And CBC, you did not do the heroes of this story justice. I hope you're listening, because in their coverage, the heroes in this story were simply a side note. And I think it had to do with their politics. So there are two Saskatchewan Party MLAs who rescued a woman from Bangladesh from human and sex trafficking. So
They sure
human
did.
slavery and then sex slavery. They
Mhm.
saved her because they knew something was wrong. So as the story goes, to Saskatchewan, and I say Saskatchewan because their immigration status is unclear. I don't know if they're permanent residents or what,
Mhm.
but they were operating in Saskatchewan. Mohammed Musam and Sohail Haider were taken into custody after a judge found they exploited a woman's immigration status and her fear of being forced to leave Canada. And two Saskatchewan Party MLAs, one current, one past, were completely instrumental in her rescue.
They sure were. They sure were, you guys.
If you want to take it from here, Lise, because this is your wheelhouse. But when I saw, for me, this just started off as a story of, wow, this woman, this can happen anywhere if it's happening in somewhat rural Saskatchewan. But then when I read into this story, a Saskatchewan Party MLA,
Yeah, his name is Doug
Doug
Steele.
Steele.
Everybody will
got
know Doug Steele because of his trustache. Okay,
Mhm.
Doug Steele doesn't have a mustache; he has a trustache.
Yep.
He represents the area just off the number one highway. Everybody that drives the number one highway in Saskatchewan will know Doug Steele's face. Olivia, can we put a picture of Doug Steele's trustache on the screen so everybody can just delight in this guy?
As I said to you
There
in
he
our
is.
chat, this
Look
is
at
the
him.
man, this is the mustache of a man who saves people. This is a
That's
firefighter mustache.
That's right. And his name is Doug, and it's my opinion that guys named Doug are just universally good guys. Okay, and this is another good Doug with his trustache. So Doug represents a small community off a small area off the number one highway, and he frequented a restaurant in his town in Gull Lake.
In Gull Lake.
In Gull Lake, Saskatchewan. Yes. And Doug sort of has maybe a series, okay, a series of encounters with a woman that's working at the restaurant, and something doesn't sit right with Doug. Okay, something just doesn't sit right with Doug. There's something weird happening here. And Doug and his what's the name of the other one? Hugh Nerline, is it?
Yeah, it's Hugh Nerline.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Hugh Nerline. Yes. So Doug Steele with the trustache contacts former then Sask Party MLA Hugh Nerline, after she was then moved from Gull Lake to Tisdale, which is in another area of Saskatchewan. Doug is like, I got a buddy in the area, also happens to be a Sask Party MLA type dude, and I got to keep an eye on her from over here. So Doug and Hugh Nerline create this crime-fighting duo where they start investigating their suspected human trafficking and sex slavery. And it turns out these guys were right. These guys were right. Well, how this all unwound was Hugh Nerline slipped his business card to this sex trafficked human trafficking victim, and they got her out of there. Yeah. And these guys are now in custody. And if your MLA, listen to me, if your MLA isn't hunting down foreign human traffickers and emancipating their sex slaves, then your MLA could be doing more. You know what, you guys? We need a standing ovation for men like this. This is what we need in this world, where men see something going wrong and go, you know what? I'm just not letting this go. I'm not letting this go. They could have easily turned a blind eye to this. Easily turned a blind eye, said, none of my business. What happens here is not my business. They didn't. This is an incredible testament to their characters. And I'm proud that they're from Saskatchewan. So well done, Doug Steele, Trustache, MLA with the Trustache, Doug Steele and Hugh Nerline. Well done, boys.
That's the restaurant. This is why you need to go to your local diners. So it was like
this could be any small town restaurant.
And it was a serious, coordinated effort by these two and a social worker to extract her from there get
Yeah.
her help, get
Yeah.
these guys charged, and these guys are heroes. Like, these guys are heroes just because they were paying attention and something was wrong. And instead of ignoring it, they decided to act. My article says Steele contacted then area Sask Party MLA Hugh Nerline after this woman was moved. Nerline
Because that's
subsequently,
often,
yes, that's how it
excuse me,
happens.
that's often what happens is when local community or somebody starts sniffing around, they will pick the victim up and move them. They'll just move them out of the area so she doesn't have a point of contact with anybody anymore. And they followed them. Like, this is incredible.
And this was like a couple of months of work. So they first encountered her in September, or she began working there in September. In November, they moved her, and then they carried out their plan to extract her on March 23rd, 2023.
Gorgeous.
They denied that she worked in the restaurant, even though everybody knew she did. And the one guy denied sexually assaulting her. And these guys were convicted. So kudos.
They took her passport. Yep. They took her passport. They threatened her or coerced her into a sexual slavery situation. She was completely powerless in this, and powerless, vulnerable women need the intervention of good men. And these are two very
great mustaches.
Good men. Trustaches. It's a Saskatchewan trustache, as modeled by Saskatchewan Party MLA Doug Steele. Well done, Dougie. Well done. You're a good boy.
What a great name, Doug Steele. Like, there should be a movie made about what these two guys did.
I might make him a superhero cape. Okay. Out of a Saskatchewan flag, probably, Doug. But you've earned it. You and Hugh. Yeah. Well done, boys. Yeah. Well done.
Good job. Hey, if you're so inclined, viewers, gentle viewers, maybe drop these, at least Doug Steele, who's still in MLA, drop his constituency office a nice note. So he's a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they would love that, you guys. I'm sure they would love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous.
So let's move from good news stories of heroes to absolute villains. This story has been lighting up the internet, and it's really taken me down memory lane. Dr. Fauci, the man who was science himself, he knew that the COVID-19 vaccine was causing miscarriages. And he never said a word. In fact, they pushed this on pregnant women. And that sent me down a real tailspin, because I went through, all the Alberta press releases where they were saying it's safe and effective for pregnant women. Pregnant women must get this. But they weren't giving pregnant women all the information. What they were saying was, get this vaccine because you're more likely to be hospitalized from COVID-19 if you're pregnant. So don't you want to protect your baby? But they were withholding from those pregnant women the information that this could potentially, in I think the majority of cases, depending on who you listen to, cause a miscarriage. So as a woman who's got 3 kids, if somebody said to me, okay, so you might end up in the ICU. Your chances are greater if you end up in the ICU, but you don't have gestational diabetes. You're an otherwise healthy young woman. So, this could just end up to be the sniffles. Take this vaccine. Or if you take the vaccine, you could more than likely lose your baby. I would have taken the ICU any friggin' day of the week, but they didn't tell that to these women. And it why? Why were they so invested in the lie, or is it something far more sinister?
Well, I mean, they would have had that data available to them.
They did.
Instantaneously. You can confirm a pregnancy at a little over 5 weeks pregnant. Okay. You can see a baby on an ultrasound a little over 6 weeks pregnant. Okay. The size of a grain of rice. A heart beating in the size of a grain of rice. They would have known about these losses as they were happening and would have been able to draw the correlation to how come there's so many more people having miscarriages all of a sudden and they didn't. The human suffering that this caused families at that time, like, it's disgusting. Then we have on the other side, we have Detective Helen Bruce in Ottawa being persecuted for looking into a spate of baby deaths, a woman who literally just used her eyeballs and ears to listen to families whose babies had just died, going, just a second here, what do all of these babies have in common? She was persecuted for that. She was punished.
She's being sentenced, I think, later this week or next week. She's being sentenced.
The evil that had to have permeated at that time to have allowed all of this to happen. It's incalculable.
And those recommendations that this is safe and effective, still up on government websites.
On the Government of Canada website. On the Government of Canada
They were appealing to our most basic instincts as mothers.
To protect your
children. Right. They were, but never telling us that there was a far greater risk that you would lose that child. They didn't care. And even worse, you know what really gets me? In Alberta, we had that stupid $100 if you get your vaccine incentive. Because our uptake was so low, because we don't like the government telling us what to do. They sent out that $100 incentive and they said, okay, well, if you're one of those few holdouts, here's $100. Imagine you're a struggling single mom and you don't know what to do. And somebody offers you $100 to do something that they are telling you is safe and effective. How dare they? And then the $1 million lottery, the vaccine lottery, because again, we wouldn't take the stupid thing because we were like, no, don't tell us what to do.
Right.
Then a $1 million lottery to incentivize people who were struggling to get this stupid thing.
Well, but it's predatory on the poverty level. It's predatory on the psychological level, like the ways that they had to, and to like, now that all this truth is coming out, like to think that we doubted all of the people just trying to raise a red flag, going, something is not right here. Something is not right here. And if you think of just the evil that had to happen, so they knew they were doing something that would end life in the womb. They knew that they were undertaking something that would end life in infancy. They were doing something that would end pregnancies and thrust families in just the worst kind of pain. Truly, the loss of a baby. There is nothing worse for a family. There is nothing worse. And they did that to them.
Moloch always gets his infant sacrifices. Each generation does it. Moloch got his this time again. Let's change lanes. Let's talk about the good things that are happening in Alberta and then maybe some of the bad things.
Okay.
In Ontario, they seem to have a real problem with unsafe trucking. I think you know what I'm getting at. There's a certain population demographic that is involved in these trucking school mills and graduating people, and they come here as temporary foreign students at the trucking school, and then they stay as temporary foreign workers because apparently we don't have enough Canadians to drive trucks, or so they say to me. And in Ontario, it is a horrific problem. They have these illegal trucking yards. David Menzies has reported on this. Dangerous truckers. Humboldt has had this issue with a non-permanent resident trucker wiping out the future of an entire small town of Humboldt. In Alberta, we're not putting up with this. So we are taking unsafe trucking companies off the roads. And if you try to restart your business under another name, they're going to find you. We had 20 carriers completely eliminated. I'm going to... Devin Dreeshen is our transport minister. His dad was Earl Dreeshen, a Harper MP. Long history of just being good guys. He's a young farmer. Actually, he's not that young. He's almost 40, but the guy looks 12. I want to know what's in the water at his farm.
We're coming. We're coming. Send a pin.
I'm just trying to find his, okay. So since October, Alberta has shut down 5 fraudulent trucking schools.
Whew.
We've shut down 20 unsafe trucking companies and then terminated 13 chameleon carriers. So those are restarted companies attempting to evade regulatory oversight.
Interesting. Okay.
Prevented 40 chameleon carriers from obtaining safety fitness certificates and issued 443 administrative penalties. The moral of the story, Doug Ford, is it can be done if you're so inclined, but you're not.
Right, right. Targeted enforcement is possible, Doug. I guess not enough people in Ontario have been noisy enough to let Doug know that they want this to happen too, which shows and it shows Danielle Smith's aptitude again. She can read the room like nobody else. Albertans were concerned that this was a safety risk for them on Alberta roads, and Danielle Smith acted. She, I think people are tired of the nonstop consultations. You know what I mean? Because they use consultations as a way to kick the can down the road. And she just said, no, we're shutting them down. Not only are we shutting them down, but we're making it so that they can't fire immediately back up, rebrand, resubmit their paperwork, and hit the road again. This is excellent. Every premier in every province should be doing this.
Right, but they're not. And it apparently it can be done. They're managing it here in Alberta. Doug Ford just has no interest in it. I mean, they have these illegal, unsafe trucking yards.
Hey, but Doug, where do you think all of the guys that just got kicked out of Alberta are going to end up? Where do you think they're going to end up? They're not going to go back home. They're going to go to other jurisdictions in Canada. And if Alberta just shut down the worst and those guys go to other places, well, then, if we don't do something about that in the other provinces, then we're assuming the risk. Let's not do that. Let's return to normalcy. This is possible. This is hard.
Right. I mean, there are a lot of things that Doug Ford could do that he's, for some reason, just not doing. It's almost inexplicable.
Well, because it's easier to pretend like you don't know so that you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be accountable.
Right.
Okay. They just, their parades of selfies and their parades of press conferences are just a way to deflect from the reality of what's happening in the province. Doug is probably nobody does it better than Doug Ford. There are others, but nobody does it better than Doug Ford.
We've got this video from Danielle Smith. And I want to be clear. I'm scared of AI. I'm scared of AI. But I do believe that it is the new version of the space race. The Russians were sending dogs and cats into space. The Americans were sending monkeys. The world would be a very different place if America had lost the space race. And I believe AI is the newest space race. And
whoever can master it best is going to win this. All right.
Yes. I do believe that. And right now the race really is between the United States and China.
Right.
And China already uses AI and surveillance technology to monitor their citizens, imprison their citizens, impose state-approved think on them. They have a social credit system. They can win, or the United States can win. And look, I've got my problems with Facebook and big tech. We saw what they did during COVID, for sure. But you got to pick the least worst bad guy here. And so if these data centers are going to be built, do you want them in the free world? Or do you want them with China? Because you can't just say don't build them. Because if you don't build them, China still will.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're getting built. Yeah.
They're getting built.
Wow.
And as an Albertan, I think we are a unique jurisdiction to build these. We have
same
access
with Saskatchewan. Okay, this all copy paste for Saskatchewan. Go ahead, Sheila.
We have access to skilled trades. We have access to energy, and we are cold, which is what these things need.
That's right.
So, okay, and side effect: 3,000 jobs in just for one, the Meta data center that's broken ground just, a little bit up the road from me in Sturgeon County. And I see a lot of people with concerns about the data center. They don't like AI. Look, again, I share your concerns, but are you more scared of Chinese AI? Because I am. And the side effect is the jobs in our communities. And there are a lot of crazy people talking about environmental concerns, but those are the exact same crazy people who talk about environmental concerns about refineries, pipelines. They talk about the bees and all. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're like the water, and all of us are like closed loop system guys. That means you don't need to pump fresh water into it, and it doesn't need fresh water. Okay.
And I know I'm going to get emails
like filling
about
a pool.
This.
It's like filling a pool. You don't fill the pool every day, do you? They don't fill the water at the data centers every day. They don't. No. It's closed loop. Yeah.
And water. I know I'm going to get emails about this. I know.
People have some real big feelings about AI.
But their big concerns are about, I think, mostly, unless you're sort of on the left and anti-industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And anti-billionaire. There's strong communist vibe. So let's just put that over with the left right now.
Right.
People on our side are worried about censorship. And I share your concern, but if you're worried about censorship, then you don't want China to win this race. That's all I'm saying. Think about that, because you can stop, China's going to continue. Okay. And I think AI specifically has a real public relations problem. And again, that's their own fault. That's their own fault. But on the technical issues, I think all of those can be answered really well. I mean, we do heavy industry here better than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Danielle Smith has a video. Take this for what you will. Again, separate your concerns about AI as an entity. Put it up there. Let's just worry about the technical stuff right now. She's got a great video that answers the technical stuff. So let's watch.
Okay.
Hello, Alberta. You've probably seen the headlines about AI data centers coming to our province. The biggest one, a $13 billion project built by Meta, is under construction in Sturgeon County right now, and more are on the way. Some of you are excited about that. Some of you have questions. And some of you have heard stories from other places that have you worried. All of that is fair. So today, I'm going to answer the 6 questions we hear most often about data centers in Alberta. Number 1. What is a data center, and why does Alberta want them? A data center is a warehouse full of computers, rows of powerful servers stacked in racks running around the clock. You've been using them for 20 years. Every email you send, every photo you back up, every show you stream lives in a data center. When people say the cloud, they mean a data center. AI data centers are the upgraded next generation of data centers. Instead of mostly storing information, they are also built to solve complex problems and questions. And because they do far more work, they need far more power, which is exactly why the world wants to build them here. Think of an AI data center as a digital refinery. Alberta produces about 60% of Canada's natural gas.
Gorgeous.
A data center refines that gas stages into the most valuable commodity of our time. Gas becomes electricity. Electricity becomes computing power, and computing power becomes intelligence. The answers, the predictions, and the tools the whole world is lining up to buy. Then the finished product ships out through fiber optic cable at the speed of light. A digital pipeline that crosses borders without decades of regulatory battles and never sells at a discount. For 50 years, Albertans have asked, why don't we refine more of our own natural resources right here at home? Well, this is how we do just that. And as more of these new AI data centers come online, they will generate billions of dollars in additional taxes and royalties for needed public services and help preserve our low-tax Alberta advantage. And that's worth celebrating. Number 2, didn't other places get burned by these data centers? Well, yeah, some did. And we studied every one for their mistakes. Some jurisdictions let data centers connect to the grids faster than new power could be built. And as a result, people's electricity bills went up. Some handed out billions of dollars in tax breaks to attract the companies. Some pushed the cost of new power plants and transmission lines onto the power bills of families and small businesses. And some even allowed massive facilities right beside quiet neighborhoods where residents have been living with noisy humming ever since.
Right.
None of that is happening here because Alberta's government took the time to get our AI data center framework right. We spent 2 years studying what went wrong in other places, and we wrote Made in Alberta rules to prevent those problems from happening here. And the foundation of our approach is simple. These are 100% private projects.
100%
No subsidies,
private.
no grants, no discounted power, no taxpayer backstop. If a project succeeds, Albertans share in the benefits. If it fails, the investors lose the money, not you. Number 3,
That's the way it should
how do
be.
Albertans actually benefit from these data centers? Let's start with jobs. Building the Sturgeon County campus will employ more than 3,000 tradespeople at its peak. Electricians, pipe fitters, crane operators, concrete crews, and engineers. And there will be around 300 permanent jobs once it is up and running. In addition, thousands of spin-off jobs will be created in engineering, maintenance, logistics, hotels, restaurants, and local supply chains right across the province. Now let's talk about the money. I already mentioned the increased royalties from natural gas that will benefit Albertans' public services and tax advantage as more of these data centers come online. But there's more. Just the Meta project alone is expected to deliver roughly $250 million to Albertans every single year
Per year.
in taxes, levies, royalties, and fees. Revenues that help pay for roads, healthcare, education, and public safety without raising your taxes. And we made sure of it. Alberta charges large data centers a levy of up to 2% on the value of their computing equipment. That's on top of the property taxes that fund local communities and the royalties on the natural gas they use. Albertans share on the upside. That's the deal. Number 4, will my power bill go up? No.
This is
In
a big
Alberta,
concern.
data centers will pay their own way. Their own power, their own grid connection, their own infrastructure down to the last substation. At Sturgeon County, a $4.6 billion natural gas power plant is being built right next door with private money to supply the data center as it grows. And Meta will pay nearly $200 million a year in transmission fees, just like any other large industrial consumer. That last part is good news for you. The cost of Alberta's transmission system, the towers and lines that move power around the province, is shared by everyone who uses the grid. When a customer that size joins our electricity system, your share of the transmission bill gets smaller. Based on Meta's fees alone, the transmission portion of household power bills is expected to drop by up to 6%. Now,
On
power
one
prices
project.
in Alberta have always moved in cycles, and no government should pretend otherwise. But what our rules guarantee is this: the costs of data center power, connections, and infrastructure are carried by the companies, not by your family. And if supply ever gets tight, like in an extreme cold snap, homes and families will always come first. Full stop. That is why Alberta AI data centers, including Meta, will build backup generation. Because in extreme weather conditions, Alberta's grid emergency procedures protect households and essential services over industrial facilities.
You know, I think that's long
which means
enough.
those facilities need their own.
I just wanted to show that because Alberta has really thought about the technical issues. Like, yes, again, I reiterate, I'm an AI skeptic. I'm worried about it, but I'm more worried about Chinese AI. And Alberta has really thought about how to build these things in a conscientious way that doesn't affect Alberta consumers writ large, bringing in their own nearly $5 billion power plant, which will in turn also create jobs and upstream jobs in oil and gas, is a huge benefit. But we have seen problems with these things in other jurisdictions. They just plunk them anywhere. That's not happening here. It's going into like the heaviest of heavy industrial area. And I live just down the road from this thing. I'm not all that concerned about it. We're accustomed to heavy industry here and the, frankly, small impact it has on the environment here. And full disclosure, my son's a pipe fitter. So I look forward to the increased wages for all the tradespeople in and around the Fort Saskatchewan area.
True. Yes. No, people do have genuine. I'm really happy that she acknowledged that people do have questions.
Yeah.
There are people that do have questions, and they do have legitimate concerns. Not the least of which is that we are replacing human intelligence, which of course is which of course includes a soul. Okay, humans have souls. That's what makes us special. That's what drives us to make good decisions, most of us. Okay, and what we're doing is falling back on artificial intelligence. And so for everybody just worried like me that the robots are going to take over, just stay human. We have a role in this too. It is to stay human. But it's interesting the way that the need for data and the space for data has just exponentially increased year over year since the very beginning of tech. Okay, we know that tech lives on data and the ability to be able to process it. And this is great for Alberta. This is great for Alberta. And we all have a choice in this. Stay human. That's my advice.
Yeah, and I'm glad she listed just a number of things that run through a data center. You know, you got your everybody's got email. You know, I don't complain to me about AI or data centers if you're sending me an email to complain. Please, like, do you get that? And you know, when I went to the Morinville protest, there were legitimate AI skeptics there with whom I am a fellow traveler. But don't tell me that this thing uses an enormous amount of energy, which it does, out of one side of your mouth, and then tell me that you're concerned about arable farmland out of one side of your mouth. When this is not arable farmland. This is set aside a long time ago. But then turn to me and say, these same tradespeople should be building solar farms. Where do you think they put the solar farms? Where? On the arable farmland, you crazy person.
Right. Yeah,
Anyway.
that's what we do. That's what we do.
Olivia, let's take some of the independence stuff and move it to tomorrow for the Buffalo panel. And let's come back on the other side of the ad break and talk about our new Canada and how wonderful it is and how culturally enriched I feel all the time, every time I'm on the internet. Okay?
Okay. Stay weird.
For generations, many Canadians have preserved more than just firearms.
Many of our men and women
They've preserved history, tradition, competition, memories. But under Trudeau, and now Carney, heirlooms, estates, collectibles, and competition firearms now have to be surrendered and destroyed. While violent gun criminals get pass after pass, openly ignoring any legislation, lawful gun owners are trapped in an increasingly unfair legal system. But we can help. Canada's National Firearms Association's Save Firearms program offers the legal pathway to preserve what matters, while we work towards a political solution. Don't let yours be next. Save history, save heritage, save firearms. Visit nfa.ca today to learn more.
In Canada, firearms owners like me understand the importance of safe, effective self-defense options. That's why we're proud to have Byrna as a sponsor. Byrna's less lethal launchers are designed to help protect you and your family without taking a life. Byrna offers peace of mind, accessibility, and a practical layer of personal security for Canadians who value safety. Learn more at byrna.ca/rebel. That's byrna.ca/rebel.
Hey folks, do you love a good cup of coffee? Are you, like me, banned for life from visiting Tim Hortons? Well,
no, we're not. No, not everybody is.
Not everybody.
Just you and me.
But I am. Folks, I have great news. Check it out. This is Rebel News Special Edition Coffee. Rebel News and Resistance Coffee have partnered to bring you something special to wake up to. Resistance Coffee is a family-run Canadian coffee company, unlike Tim Hortons, by the way. And while the big chains wrap themselves in the flag and turn their backs on Canadian workers, Resistance Coffee has been doing the real thing all along, available only at rebelcoffee.ca. A 5-pound bag and bundles qualify for a $9.99 flat rate shipping nationwide. It is worth every penny. Folks, this is great coffee, and this is the coffee to brew. Rebel News.
Canadians know the national anthem. They stand in silence to remember those who died for this country. But not every Canadian knows their rights and freedoms. The Freedom Passport will change that. It looks and feels like a Canadian passport, but contains the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms in a portable, easy-to-read format. The Freedom Passport. Order one for yourself and for all the freedom lovers that you love at freedompassport.ca.
Alrighty, we're back. I promised you some more evidence of how great our new Canada is and how diversity is our strength.
Tell
And
us.
diversity is now even in the backcountry. So this is a place I know very well. Spent a lot of time backcountry camping and quadding there with my family. Abraham Lake, one of the most beautiful places on the face of the earth. Okay, the earth. Picturesque. Like when you imagine beautiful mountains, rocky faces, and like crystal blue waters. That's Abraham Lake.
Okay.
But now it's a new place for Palestinians to flourish, complete with their upgraded version of our Canadian flag.
Oh, this is not gonna listen. This is not gonna be embraced. I'm just telling you that doing this kind of thing really fuels resentment. It fuels resentment because it's co-opting something that is precious to us and repackaging it as somebody else's. And this, wow, unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. That takes a special sort of disconnect to be like,
Gall. It's galling is what it is.
Entitled.
Yeah. You want to talk about AI? Abraham Lake is so beautiful. You think it's AI generated. Like it's just, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And feels like
That's
it's being graffitied.
Well, it feels like it's being culturally appropriated because it is, as you can clearly see with your eyeballs in that video. Continuity of what a place was before matters to the people that live there and always will. So,
here's one. Immigrants. Sorry, I don't know if they're immigrants. Let's just say new Canadians.
Okay.
Whatever that means, that's my catch-all phrase for people who, I don't know their immigration status, but they were stealing coins from the fountain at West Edmonton Mall in Edmonton. Let's watch.
No. Yep.
So this is what happens when you bring people from low trust societies to high trust societies.
Yeah, they don't know that what a wishing well is.
Or maybe they do, they just don't care.
Wishes right now. Think of all the wishes that just got canceled outright by this. That's why. Where's mall security? Being like, sirs, this isn't a bathtub. Please get your children off the floor. Where's security? Unreal.
Have you seen the security guards at West Edmonton Mall? Did we see any when we were there on the Swans?
When there was a shooting? No.
We left right before the shooting.
You know, that was wild. It was on my birthday. Sheila took me for my birthday. She said, we can do anything you want in the mall. Okay? Anything you want in the mall. We had the funnest 24 hours imaginable. And then all of a sudden, both of us just got this feeling where we're like, we're sick of this. We have to leave right now. Okay, we are done with this place. We are leaving right now. And literally minutes after we left, there was a shooting. And so were our lives spared? Yes. Are we miracles? Yes.
Just if people want a sneak peek of what we did, we rented a theme room, whichever one she wanted. I said, because when she was a young lady with the single mom, she couldn't do that. So I said, you know what? The world is your oyster. Let's do it. So we got a theme room. There were bunk beds. It was the Polynesian room.
There was a mirror above the bed, you guys. And
I have never looked better. All my like wrinkly skin fell back.
We have videos of us doing like horizontal Zumba on the bed, like just legs flying and arms flying, because it was just the funniest. It was a bit, honestly, Sheila, it was one of the happiest 24-hour periods of my life. That's how much fun we had.
Then we went on a tour of what used to be called Bourbon Street. Drank an entire drink menu twice, and then we went and did the like the paddle boats ones, and then we went to bed early.
In bed 10. Okay, this is how we roll. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Listen, West Edmonton Mall is not the mall that you remember as a child.
It's different now.
It's a different thing now. Yep.
It's different now.
I'm really sorry if your wish got canceled by those people digging in the wishing well there, or at the fountain at the West End. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's very sad. Stolen bench at a Bakestead? How do I say that?
Bakestad?
Put it in the chat if you're from there.
Yes, this came from the Assiniboia, Saskatchewan community Facebook page. It popped up on my algo. And do you guys see that little beautiful bench on the left? Do you see it? Saskatchewan, I need you to take a good, hard, long look at this bench, because it has been stolen. It is a family's memorial bench that sits on their original home quarter. There are over 100 years of history of this family here. These are where all of the ancestors and descendants, this is where all of the descendants come to consult with their ancestors. It is a sacred place to this family, and their memorial bench has been stolen. So this is a Saskatchewan true crime mystery. This is a Saskatchewan true crime mystery, and we want this bench returned to where it was taken from. Somebody knows where this bench is, okay? And we want it brought back. So with our help of our Rebel News viewers in Saskatchewan, please share this. Please share the missing memorial bench. This is desperately low behavior. There's a plaque that says why the bench is there. This is low level, kind of like, you can see the local meth head doing this. You know what I mean? Everybody check the yards of the meth heads, because they took this thing and they're going to sell it for scrap so they can have more money for meth. But we want this memorial bench back for this family, obviously, and to honor the people that built this place in Saskatchewan. So thanks for looking at it, guys.
This is like knocking down a statue for me.
Arguably worse, because it commemorates the memory of people that were there. It's sacred. It's a sacred place.
Let's go to this Integrity TO video, because I have a cringe I want to get to, and we'll show the elbows up boomers that we showed yesterday too in the lead up to that. So Integrity TO, Toronto City Councillor says Ghanaians now own Yonge and Dundas Square. In a bizarre rant, yes, I guess it's theirs now. In a bizarre rant, multi-decade city councillor Shelley Carroll proudly said that Ghanaians now own Yonge and Dundas Square. I believe it's called Sankofa Square for some incomprehensible reason now, not Torontonians. So let's watch.
Torontonians have an ability to stop
she looks exactly how I thought.
At certain moments. In Sankofa Square, we stopped awfulizing about the FIFA tournament, and I dare say, Madam Speaker, we stopped awfulizing about the name of that square, too. The Ghanaian community finally owns that name and owns that square. And that, to me, is one of the benefits that the Auditor General better put in her report. Torontonians have an ability to stop
awfulizing. You know, she would be right at home in front of like a grade 7 health class talking like that. You know what I mean? She just has that way about her that
she's a marm. You know what I mean?
They're Goldie marm.
Yes. Like, you just know she has her pronouns in her bio somewhere. You just know, you could tell by those glasses that she didn't have a great relationship with her dad either.
Right.
And
giving
there's
away
like 20,000 Ghanaians in slowed right down like I was having a stroke there in the greater GTA. Now they have the Yonge Dundas Square. Why, by the way? Why?
I mean, why are we giving prime pieces of Canadian real estate away to foreigners? Why? Why are we doing this? It doesn't happen in other countries.
Awfulizing. She marmized that speech, since we're just turning everything into a verb.
Did you just, sorry, while we're thinking about how people are like making up new words, did you see that video where the lesbians taking their kid to camp actually enunciates the LGBT LGBT? No, what was it? Qua.
Olivia, can you find that?
Please. You guys have to see how preposterous it is.
They have obviously been using that in their everyday parlance. There's no doubt that they haven't been, because it just rolled off the tongue.
Legabitqua. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. I can't. Listen, we just got to find the video for you guys.
Thanks for... How do you say the two? And the plus?
No, they stop at the qua, which I thought was so funny and bougie. Like they're Frenchifying their silly little acronym. You know what I mean? And making it an actual phonetic word. They're trying to. In any case, it is the funniest thing I've seen all week. I should have put it in the chat. I'm sorry, I didn't, guys.
Olivia says I have to resend the cringe because she can't see it, but it's from our friends over at
Just Bins.
Hold
on. Bear with us, guys. This is quickly,
we're on the fly.
As we quickly send the daily cringe, and it is such a good one from our friends over there at the garbage company, Just Bins.
Maybe can you see it now, Olivia? In the meantime, can we serve up the elbows up boomers dance from yesterday? Because I reacted to it yesterday, but I really want Lise to see it with me. Do you know the video, Olivia? It's from yesterday, and the Liberal campaign from Vancouver, where there's a by-election, they were showcasing the get up and go, the gumption of their door knockers in this absolute cringe of a video. Like it's just cringe set to music. And there's one guy there who's, I don't know if he's there to round up a loose grampy that escaped from the home or something. He seems really out of place in the video. Olivia, did you find it from yesterday? Here it is. Okay, let's watch.
Oh, I can't already.
This guy.
I saw the one.
Okay, those people are knocking on heaven's waiting room door.
I was just going to make that joke. Sheila, Gunn, Reid. I was like, oh, hello. I'd like to report a mass breakout from the dementia care home. It seems as if they have one young one with them, but clearly there's a herd of boomers on the loose in Victoria. My goodness.
Look, here's the thing. As I said it yesterday, the good news is if you are a conservative door knocker, I think you might be able to get out in front of these people.
You might. Just out of camera, you couldn't see their walkers and mobility scooters. Okay?
They look like a motorcycle gang.
I bet they had a little table of Ensure set up. You know what I mean? Some nutritional supplement to keep those guys giving her.
But full credit to these people that they're out there volunteering on a campaign. So if you are able to volunteer on the Conservative campaign, maybe, would you really want these people to beat you to the doors? Should they beat you to the doors?
Well,
no.
And never mind, this is Victoria, where they're gonna have a lot more support than they do on the prairies, let's say.
Yeah, they only released that on Facebook. They didn't release it to X or other platforms. There's
Well,
a
because
reason
they
for
get
that.
eviscerated.
Older people are over on
That's right.
Facebook.
That's right.
So,
They'd get eviscerated for it. Anyway.
Olivia, if you are able to access the cringe, just as a follow-up to yesterday's geriatric showcase, this is what a Liberal meeting looked like. Oh, you don't? Oh, dang. We're going to have to do it tomorrow. You know what? I'm going to download it for tomorrow. If you follow Just Bins on Facebook, Instagram, you'll probably be able to see this.
To catch it on their stories? Yeah.
To catch it on their stories. I'll download it so we can watch it for tomorrow. But it's an absolute empty room of, Efron screen recorded it.
Did he? Because he's a good boy. He knows. Efron
knows.
That's
not it. No, that's the wrong one, Efron. We should have been more prepared. We set you up for just an absolute cringe delight, and we don't have it today.
You know
so
what? Double cringe tomorrow, guys.
Double cringe tomorrow, you guys.
To a double cringe tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes. I think that's it. You know what? It's in the headlines. We'll just show one quick one, and then we'll get to the chats because I have an interview for my premium show right after this. This from our friends over at Rise of Alberta. The Federalists are out there again presenting their best arguments for us to stay in Canada. Are you ready to be swayed? Convinced?
Ready. Yeah.
Okay, let's watch.
I've been waiting for this my whole life. Okay.
You fucking Nazis! You should be fucking hanged! Speak up! Deported to fucking Russia! You fucking horrible fucking Nazi cunts! Tell me what you really think! Child rapist! Fuck off! Don't say child rapist! Fuck off, child rapist! Fuck off, child rapist! Fuck off, child rapist! Fuck off! Get the fuck out of my country! You fucking get out of my fucking country! You fucking scum! My father fought for this country! My uncle died for this fucking country! You fucking scum! You fucking pedophile!
Sorry about the language.
Yeah, sorry for the language there, you guys, but that is what peaceful independent supporters face every single day out on the streets, thanks to the weaponized grandparents of the Federalist side. Again, I reiterate, visit your grandparents before Thomas Lukasik and Mark Carney do, because we've just seen they'll end up dancing in a video, volunteering for the Liberals, or screaming at perfectly peaceful,
losing their minds in public.
Yeah,
like really. That you should never preface my dad fought for this country by screaming like a raving lunatic in the streets. You should never, those two things don't go together. You should never feel like you're entitled to scream like a lunatic in the streets because your dad fought in the war. That's actually doing a disservice to people that fought in the war. That's actually embarrassing.
Don't stand on the shoulders of someone else's service to try to take away someone else's democratic right in a referendum campaign. There is nothing more democratic than the direct democracy of a referendum. If your dad was out there fighting
Nazis,
if your dad was out there fighting for freedom, this is the freedom. This is it.
I think he might have been misinformed about roles there over the years, radicalized probably, but by the CBC maybe, or by CTV, or by our corrupt mainstream media.
Yeah.
Unreal. Well, listen, I'd cross the street if that guy was walking towards me. Okay, I would cross the street.
You wouldn't have to walk very fast.
Kick the cane, just give her.
And I want to also note the reaction of the independent supporters there. They didn't do anything. They didn't yell back.
Non-combative,
they just were completely calm. They let the guy lose his marbles apropos of nothing. Yeah. That's the way to react, because that lunatic is looking for a reaction. He's looking for a fight. Don't give him what he wants.
Don't engage. Engage.
Yeah.
Okay. Safe is just to give those guys a wide berth. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. P Schofield 10 gives us $5. Lucky dogs for your fall weather up there in the North End. It will be 40 degrees Celsius hereabouts today. Good to
Ooh,
advertise
buddy.
for scrutineers. I did it for federal elections since 2016, and it was a blast. Oh, well, thank you.
Wonderful, P. Schofield.
40 degrees.
One of our favorite American viewers.
Yes, Colorado came to our birthday party in Calgary.
He sure did, and he speaks to us in Celsius, which is that's a nice touch.
Thank you for treating us, talking to us in Trudeau degrees. Yep. Nightingale 13 gives us $10 for the 2025 election. Many people in my area are Chinese Indian who barely speak English. Volunteers were telling them to remember who brought you here and gave a ballot.
Unreal.
Unbiased people make the difference. And here's the thing. I know that if you are volunteering to scrutineer for me or any of the independence TPAs, that you do have a bias, but you just need to be there to watch. That kind of stuff people should know about. Did Lise freeze? Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's it. I will sign off the show then. I can hear you perfectly fine. I think you're unfrozen now. You're back.
Okay. Oh, am I? Hi. Oh,
sorry. No, you weren't. I was just going to say, moving.
Thanks so much for having me, Sheila, Gunn, Reid, and thanks so much for tuning in, viewers. And we'll see you tomorrow on Wild West Wednesday.
Yeah, two cringe.
Double cringe.
Double cringe because we keyed up a big cringe here and there was no cringe. So I will get to that. I'll make sure it's there for you guys tomorrow. Olivia, thanks. We put you on the spot a couple of times in the show.
Yeah,
we appreciate you. Thanks to everybody who watches the show, pitches in a little bit, and just interacts with our content. It really does help. We're so close to 2 million subscribers. So as I always say, talk it over with your friends, your doctor, see if Rebel News is right for you. We'll see you tomorrow. Lise mentioned we have the Buffalo panel. It's Western Wednesday, so it'll be us talking about, at least for the first half an hour, issues facing Western Canadians. We'll see you tomorrow. I've got another interview to get to. So if you find us offensive, maybe don't find us at all.
Say, folks, I have an announcement to make. For years now, Rebel News has been taking supporters out to sea on our annual cruise. I am officially joining the News Cruise, November 28th to December 5th, 2026. Here's the big picture. This year, Rebel News is teaming up with our friends at Juno News for the very first time, making the News Cruise a true joint venture between two of Canada's most watched independent newsrooms. And the lineup sailing with me, you ask? Well, the big boss man Ezra Levant, he'll be there, of course, the man who has never once in his life been at a loss for words, which should make for excellent dinner conversation, or at least a very long conversation. Kian Bexley will be joining us too. Younger than me, of course, better hair than me, and knowingly good at his job. You'll want to sit across from Kian at dinner. And John Carpay, the brilliant constitutional lawyer from the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, he will also be on board, which means if the captain tries to infringe on anyone's rights, we've got legal counsel on the Lido deck. We board Holland America Line's gorgeous MS Eurodam in Fort Lauderdale, Florida on Saturday, November 28th, and we don't come back until Saturday, December 5th, 7 full nights in the Eastern Caribbean. And there will be private receptions and candid, off-the-record conversations, the kind you will never see on any screen. And each evening at dinner, we will be rotating seats. So over the course of the week, you will sit across the table from all of us, not watching from a distance, not through a camera, across the table. Cabins are limited, and I cannot stress this enough. Every single cruise Rebel News has ever run has sold out. This year, with Juno News joining forces, demand is going to be even higher. So if you are on the fence, get off that fence and get on the boat. Visit thenewscruise.com to explore cabins and pricing. Please come join us. You just can't lose when you do the cruise.